Leadership starts with how you see the world and yourself. To think like a leader, you must first believe you have the power to shape outcomes and inspire others. True leaders do not wait for permission. They take responsibility and act with purpose every day. Thinking like a leader means training your mind to focus on solutions, not problems. It means looking beyond what is easy and comfortable to what is necessary for growth and progress. Today we will discuss how to shift your mindset to lead with confidence, clarity, and courage. You will learn simple but powerful ways to change your thinking so you can step into leadership in any area of your life. If you're ready to unlock your inner leader and start thinking in a way that moves you and others forward, then let's dive in. Number 1. Start taking responsibility for every decision you make. Most people walk around blaming everything and everyone except the one person in the mirror. They blame the traffic for being late. They blame their boss for not getting promoted. They blame the economy for not starting their business. And every time they point a finger, they hand over their power. You cannot lead others if you can't lead yourself first. And the first step to leading yourself is taking full, complete, unfiltered responsibility for your life, your choices, your actions, your reactions. No excuses, no loopholes. That's what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. You have to understand, this world doesn't owe you comfort. It doesn't owe you understanding, and it sure doesn't owe you success. The moment you realize that, you begin to see how much control you really do have. And that's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. When you take responsibility, you're no longer a passenger in your own life. You become the driver. If you don't like where you are, then start steering the wheel in another direction. But don't wait for someone else to do it for you. They won't. And they shouldn't, because it's your life, your mind, your hands, and your path. A leader doesn't sit around waiting for someone to hand them a map. A leader draws their own. Too many people wait for motivation to strike before they move. That's not how this works. If you want to think like a leader, you start by owning everything. All of it. The good decisions. The bad ones. The ones you made out of fear. The ones you avoided making because you were afraid to fail. All of it belongs to you. If you're in a mess, it might not be entirely your fault, but cleaning it up is your responsibility. That's what leaders do. They don't pass the blame. They don't shrink when things get tough. They say, "All right, this is where we are. Now what can I do about it?" You see, responsibility is not a burden, it's freedom. It means you're not waiting on luck or fate or someone else's permission to move forward. It means if you want change, you can start today. It means if you want growth, you can pursue it. That mindset shifts everything. You don't wait for the right time. You make now the right time. You don't wait for the perfect conditions. You build the strength to move through imperfect ones. And let me tell you something most people won't. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to get it wrong sometimes. But that's part of it. Leaders don't get everything right. They just don't run from what went wrong. They stop. They reflect. They say, "What did I miss? What can I learn? How do I do it better next time?" That attitude of self-accountability, it builds wisdom. It builds character. And it builds credibility because people follow someone who stands tall even after falling down. People often ask, "How do I become more confident?" The answer is, by taking responsibility. When you take ownership of your decisions, you stop hiding. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for the stars to align. And every time you do that, you build trust with yourself. The more you trust yourself, the more confident you become. That's real confidence, not noise, not showmanship, but inner certainty that says, "I can figure it out. I can own my next step." Responsibility also builds discipline. When you stop blaming your situation, you start taking action. You stop saying, "I didn't have time," and start managing your priorities. You stop saying, "I didn't know how," and start finding out. You stop saying, "Nobody helped me," and start asking for what you need. That kind of mindset creates motion. And motion leads to progress. You'll notice something about real leaders. They don't complain. They don't waste time with if-only thinking. They're focused on the next move, the next right decision, even when they're scared, even when they're uncertain, because they understand one simple truth. No one is coming to save them. No one's coming to push them forward. That job belongs to them, and they do it every day. When you start taking responsibility, you also start raising your standards. You stop tolerating things that pull you down. You stop allowing distractions, toxic habits, or weak environments to control you. Why? Because you've made a decision that your life is your business. Your future is your investment. And you take that seriously. Not someday, not when it's easy, but today, now. You see, leadership starts in the quiet, everyday choices, choosing to wake up early instead of hitting snooze, choosing to speak with honesty instead of hiding behind silence, choosing to finish what you start, choosing to show up on the days you don't feel like it. That's responsibility in action. And when you do it often enough, it becomes who you are. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. If your life is messy, it's because of the decisions you made or avoided. That's the hard truth. But the empowering part is this. If your life can get messy because of you, then it can also get better because of you. That shift in perspective is everything. That's how leaders think. They know they can't control everything that happens, but they can always control how they respond. That's power. And that's the beginning of leadership. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to change your life. Stop looking for who to blame when things go wrong. Look at yourself. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's maturity. That's leadership. Every time you take responsibility, you grow. You get better. You become stronger. You stop being a victim of your past and become the architect of your future. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But would you rather stay stuck in the comfort of excuses or move forward with the discomfort of progress? Leaders choose growth. They choose ownership. They choose to take control of their lives, even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when they don't have all the answers. That choice, that decision to be responsible, that's what sets them apart. Because the truth is, the person you become is shaped by what you take responsibility for. You take responsibility for your energy, your words, your attitude, your results. You stop blaming others for the life you're living and start creating the life you want. One choice at a time. One day at a time. Every time you choose responsibility, you take back your power. And that, my friend, is how leaders are made. Number 2, practice clear thinking before reacting in tough moments. There are moments in life when everything feels like it's crashing down at once. The call you didn't expect. The deal that fell through. The person who betrayed your trust. The pressure that builds in your chest when it feels like you're being attacked, misunderstood, or dismissed. Most people react in these moments without thinking. They lash out. They defend themselves too quickly. They make a fast choice just to escape the discomfort. And that's where most people lose control of their outcomes, not because of the situation, but because of how they reacted to it. A leader can't afford to live in reaction mode. You can't make decisions just because you're angry, or scared, or tired. That's what people do when they haven't trained their minds. Clear thinking isn't something you do when it's easy. It's something you learn to do when things are messy, confusing, and full of pressure. That's when it counts the most. Leadership shows itself in the hardest moments, not the smoothest ones. Here's something you need to understand. Every emotion has energy, but not every emotion deserves your response. There's a moment, a tiny space between what happens and what you do next. That space determines everything, and most people skip it. They go straight from feeling to doing. That's where damage happens. That's where regret is born. But when you develop the ability to pause, to breathe, to observe what's going on in your mind before you speak or act, that's when you shift from reactive to responsible. That's when you think like a leader, In high-pressure situations, clear thinking gives you an edge. It keeps you grounded when others are losing their grip. It helps you ask better questions instead of jumping to conclusions. It allows you to step back, look at the facts, and separate them from your emotions. That doesn't mean you ignore how you feel. It means you don't let your feelings take the wheel. That's wisdom. That's maturity. And that's leadership. Most people don't practice this because they think it takes too long. But clear thinking isn't about taking hours to decide. It's about building the mental discipline to slow things down just enough to get perspective. You can train yourself to do this. You can build the habit of asking, what's really going on here? What matters most right now? What action serves my purpose, not my pride? That kind of inner conversation helps you stay in control, even when the world around you feels out of control. Clear thinking also requires that you deal with your ego, because sometimes your biggest obstacle isn't the problem itself. It's your need to be right, your fear of looking weak, your desire to prove something. But when your ego runs the show, your judgment gets clouded. Leaders don't serve their egos, they serve a greater purpose. That means you don't need to win every argument. You don't need to react to every insult. You don't need to prove yourself to people who don't understand your vision. You need to stay focused on what really matters, and that takes clarity. Clarity also means you don't allow fear to hijack your decision-making. Fear can make your thinking foggy. It speeds things up in the wrong way. It pushes you to play small or act out of desperation. Clear thinking cuts through that noise. It reminds you to get the facts straight, to ask what the real consequences are, to remind yourself that panic doesn't help you solve anything. That kind of thinking turns fear into fuel. It sharpens your awareness instead of drowning you in doubt. Here's a truth that most people avoid. Your ability to think clearly in difficult moments is one of your most powerful leadership tools. It's what helps you respond instead of react. It's what gives you the strength to listen when someone else is yelling. It's what allows you to make a calm, firm decision when the stakes are high. That kind of thinking makes people trust you. It makes people want to follow you. Because when you stay steady in the storm, you help others find their footing too. And let me tell you, this isn't about being emotionless. This isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about mastering it. You feel it, but you don't become it. That's leadership. When people are emotional, confused, overwhelmed, they look to the one who's calm, clear, and composed. Be that person. Not by pretending to be perfect, but by practicing mental clarity every single day. Start by building routines that help you clear your head. Take time in the morning to sit with your thoughts before the chaos starts. Write things down. Get your mind organized. Prepare yourself mentally for what might go wrong and how you want to show up when it does. Don't wait until a crisis hits to start training your thinking. Practice it daily. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You can't lead people well if your mind is a mess. If your thoughts are scattered, your emotions unchecked, your decisions reactive, you'll keep creating more problems than you solve. And people won't follow chaos. They follow clarity. They follow steadiness. They follow someone who has enough inner discipline to stay calm, see things as they are, and move forward with purpose. And that starts with you. No one else can do this part for you. You've got to learn how to catch yourself in those heated moments. You've got to learn how to pause before you speak, how to cool your emotions down so your mind can turn on. You don't owe the world your first reaction. You owe it your best decision. That means practicing emotional control, not for the sake of image, but for the sake of impact. Leadership is a mental game as much as it is a physical or tactical one. What's going on in your head determines what comes out in your actions. If your thinking is cloudy, your leadership will be shaky. But when your thinking is clear, your presence becomes powerful. You speak with confidence because you've taken the time to think it through. You move with direction because you've sorted out the noise. That's what makes people feel safe around you. That's what earns their respect. The truth is, Life will keep throwing challenges your way. People will frustrate you. Plans will fall apart. Things will happen that you didn't see coming. You can't always control the situation, but you can control how you meet it, with a clear mind, with calm strength, with thoughtful decisions. That's the kind of thinking that leaders are made of. Number 3, set a vision and work toward it daily. Most people drift through life without a clear destination. They wake up, move through their day, and wonder why they feel stuck or unfulfilled. That lack of direction creates confusion, frustration, and a sense of being lost. Without a vision, you're simply reacting to what life throws at you instead of creating the life you want. The harsh reality is that without a clear vision, your energy dissipates. You waste time on things that don't matter and miss out on what could truly change your life. To think like a leader, you must have a vision so strong that it pulls you forward every single day, no matter the obstacles. A vision is more than just a dream or a vague hope. It is a vivid picture of where you want to go. It's detailed enough that you can feel it, almost as if it's already happening. This picture becomes a magnet for your energy and focus. It gives you clarity on what matters and what doesn't. People without a vision often find themselves distracted by every shiny opportunity or caught in the trap of other people's agendas. But when you have a clear vision, you start saying no to things that don't align with your purpose. You create boundaries that protect your time and energy because you know exactly what you're working toward. Vision creates meaning in your daily efforts. When you wake up every morning, it becomes the reason you push through tiredness, doubts, and setbacks. The hard truth is that progress is rarely comfortable or easy. The path toward meaningful goals is often filled with struggles, but a clear vision gives you the motivation to keep going. It fuels your persistence because it's not just about short-term rewards. It's about building a future that matters to you deeply. Without vision, giving up feels tempting, but with vision, giving up becomes unthinkable. Every leader's vision is personal and unique. It reflects what they value most and what they believe their life's work should be. That means you can't borrow someone else's vision and expect it to work for you. You have to discover your own. What lights a fire inside you? What are you willing to sacrifice for? What kind of impact do you want to make in your family, your community, or your career? These are the questions that help you define your vision. Writing it down brings it into focus. Reading it daily reminds you why you started. But having a vision isn't enough on its own. You must work toward it every day, no matter how small the step. Leaders understand that success is built from consistent, purposeful action over time. They don't wait for inspiration to strike or for conditions to be perfect. They show up, put in the effort, and make progress. It might be waking up earlier to plan your day, reading a chapter from a book that moves you forward, making a phone call that builds a relationship, or simply taking time to reflect on your progress. These daily actions create momentum. They turn vision into reality. Daily work toward your vision requires discipline and sacrifice. It means saying no to distractions that offer temporary pleasure but no lasting value. It means resisting the temptation to compare yourself with others or get discouraged by slow progress. That kind of commitment builds character. It trains your mind to focus on what really counts and to keep moving even when the initial excitement fades. Remember, leaders don't rely on motivation alone because motivation can be fleeting. They build systems and habits that keep them on track even when motivation wanes. A vision also acts as a filter for decisions. When faced with choices, leaders ask themselves, does this move me closer to my vision? If the answer is no, they let it go. If the answer is yes, they pursue it with everything they have. This simple question saves time, energy, and focus. It prevents distraction and scattered efforts. It keeps you aligned with what matters most and protects you from wasting precious resources on things that won't get you where you want to go. It's important to recognize that setbacks will happen along the way. People may doubt your vision, circumstances may change, and you might even question yourself. These are tests of your commitment. But your vision acts like a compass, helping you stay on course. When you feel discouraged, looking back at your vision reminds you why you started and how far you've come. It renews your energy and sharpens your focus. Leaders don't abandon their vision because of difficulty. They adjust, learn, and persist. Vision also attracts others. People want to follow someone who knows where they're going. A clear vision inspires trust and confidence. It shows that you have purpose, direction, and conviction. When you speak about your vision with passion and clarity, it lights up the people around you. They become invested not just in your goals, but in the future you're building together. That kind of influence creates teams, partnerships, and opportunities that wouldn't appear otherwise. Don't underestimate the power of small daily progress toward your vision. The compound effect of consistent effort transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Every step, no matter how tiny, moves you forward. It builds momentum and confidence. Over time, those steps become habits, and those habits create results. You become someone who doesn't just dream but acts. Someone who doesn't just hope but achieves. Keep in mind that your vision is not set in stone. It should grow and evolve as you grow. Life experiences, new knowledge, and personal growth will shape and refine your vision. That flexibility doesn't mean you lose focus. It means you're adapting and improving. A leader's vision is a living thing. It's a source of strength and guidance through all seasons. Start by clearly defining your vision today. Picture the life you want, the impact you desire, and the legacy you wish to leave. Write it down in detail, make it real in your mind, and commit to working toward it every day. Protect your vision fiercely because it is the foundation of your leadership. When you do this, you stop being a passenger in your life and become the driver. You create a roadmap that guides every decision, every action, every moment. That kind of intentional living changes everything. It creates focus where there was confusion. It creates energy where there was exhaustion. It creates hope where there was doubt. And that is how leaders think. They don't drift. They don't settle. They set their sights on something meaningful and move toward it with purpose and determination every single day. Number 4. Ask better questions to get better answers fast. There's a moment in life when frustration hits because the answers you need just don't come. You've tried to figure things out, but the results keep slipping through your fingers. You talk to others, but their advice feels shallow or confusing. You're stuck in the same place, wondering why progress seems so slow. What many don't realize is that the quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers. If you're asking the wrong questions or asking questions without thought, you'll never get the insights you need to move forward. Leaders know this well. They don't wait for answers to fall from the sky. They know how to ask questions that open doors and solve problems quickly. Asking better questions is not about sounding smart or having a long list of technical queries. It's about being curious in a focused, intentional way. It means moving beyond surface-level questions like, "Why is this happening?" or "What do I do now?" and asking deeper, clearer questions that get to the heart of the matter. When you ask better questions, you invite better thinking from yourself and from others. You guide conversations toward real solutions instead of wandering aimlessly. Many people make the mistake of asking questions that are too vague or too broad. When you ask a question like, "What's wrong with this project?" you might get a flood of complaints or confusion that doesn't help. But if you ask, "What's the biggest obstacle slowing our progress right now?" you narrow the focus and get a specific, actionable answer. Leaders learn to frame questions in ways that point toward clarity. They're precise, direct, and solution-oriented. That kind of questioning moves things forward fast. Better questions also challenge assumptions. A lot of problems persist because people accept certain beliefs without examining them. Leaders question those beliefs openly. They ask things like, "What if we looked at this differently?" or "What evidence do we have that this approach works?" Those questions shake up old patterns and invite fresh thinking. They prevent you from getting stuck in the same loops. When you question assumptions, you open the door to new possibilities and breakthroughs. Another key to asking better questions is knowing when to listen without interrupting. Too often, people rush to fill silence or jump in with their own ideas before they've heard the full answer. Leaders resist that urge. They ask a question and then listen deeply. They pay attention not just to the words, but to the emotions and intentions behind them. This kind of listening brings deeper understanding and reveals insights that surface-level answers miss. When people feel truly heard, they offer their best ideas and honest feedback. Good questions also encourage action. Leaders don't just want to understand problems, they want to find ways forward. That means asking questions like, "What can we do today to improve this?" Or, "Who can help us make this happen?" Those questions create momentum and accountability. They move the conversation from talking to doing. When you ask questions that lead to action, you transform discussions into progress. It's important to realize that better questions begin with self-awareness. You have to understand what you really want to know before you ask. Many people waste time asking questions out of habit or curiosity that doesn't serve their goals. Leaders think ahead. They prepare by identifying the gaps in their knowledge or the challenges blocking their path. Then they craft questions designed to fill those gaps or break down those challenges. That kind of focus keeps your energy and others' energy on what matters most. Better questions also show humility. They acknowledge that you don't have all the answers and that you value other perspectives. When you ask genuine questions, you invite collaboration and trust. People feel respected and engaged. They want to contribute because they see you as a leader who is open and eager to learn. That openness builds stronger relationships and better teams. It's a mark of strength, not weakness, to ask for help and insight. Practice is crucial. Asking better questions is a skill you develop over time. You can start by paying attention to the questions you ask in everyday conversations. Notice which ones lead to good answers and which ones leave you confused or frustrated. Experiment with rephrasing your questions to be clearer and more specific. Seek feedback from people you trust about how your questions come across. Over time, you'll notice that the quality of your answers improves, your decision-making sharpens, and your influence grows. Better questions can also challenge your own thinking. Sometimes the most powerful question you ask is directed inward. Am I seeing this clearly? Or, what assumptions am I making that might be wrong? These questions keep your mind flexible and open to new information. They protect you from the blind spots that limit growth. Self-questioning keeps your thinking fresh and dynamic, which is essential for leadership. In moments of pressure or uncertainty, better questions help you avoid panic or rash decisions. When emotions run high, it's tempting to jump to conclusions or act quickly. But asking the right questions gives you space to think clearly. It slows down your mind and directs your focus toward practical steps. This habit turns chaos into clarity and confusion into confidence. The truth is, the right questions can change everything. They lead to insights you wouldn't find otherwise. They build understanding in yourself and others. They create connection and open possibilities. Leaders aren't just people with answers. They're people who ask the questions that matter. That's how they solve problems, create vision, and inspire action. Developing the habit of asking better questions is one of the fastest ways to grow as a leader. It costs nothing but attention and curiosity. It opens doors that might otherwise stay closed. It moves you and your team forward faster. When you think like a leader, you don't settle for easy or vague questions. You dig deeper. You get specific. You seek clarity. And that's how you get better answers faster. Start paying attention to the questions you ask today. Choose them carefully. Make them count. Because what you ask determines what you get, and better questions lead to better results. Number 5. Focus on solutions instead of complaining about problems. Every day, people get caught in a trap of frustration. They face challenges, setbacks, or unexpected difficulties, and their first reaction is to complain. Maybe it's about their job, their relationships, the economy, or the way things should be. Complaints come easily because they offer a quick release of stress. But here's the hard truth. Complaining doesn't solve anything. It keeps you stuck, drains your energy, and blinds you to possible solutions. Leaders understand this better than anyone. They focus on solutions, not problems. That shift in mindset is what separates those who move forward from those who stay trapped in the same cycle. Complaining is like being in a storm without an umbrella. You get wet, uncomfortable, and exposed, but you don't take action to protect yourself. When you focus on problems, you keep your attention on what's wrong, and that pulls you down emotionally and mentally. It's exhausting and discouraging. The energy you spend complaining could be redirected toward finding answers, creating change, or taking small steps that lead to progress. Leaders recognize this and choose to direct their energy toward what they can control. They look at problems, yes, but they quickly shift their thinking toward how to fix them. The reality is that problems will always exist. Life isn't about avoiding difficulties, it's about how you respond to them. No leader has ever succeeded by dwelling on what's wrong. They succeed because they focus on what's possible. That focus fuels creativity, hope, and determination. It opens the door to opportunities that complaints block. When you put your mind on solutions, your brain starts working differently. It searches for ideas, resources, and actions that can help. That mental shift isn't easy at first, especially if you've grown used to complaining or feeling powerless. But it's a skill you can develop. One powerful way to shift from complaints to solutions is by asking yourself, what can I do right now to improve this situation? That question takes you out of the victim mindset and puts you in the driver's seat. Even if the answer seems small or imperfect, it moves you forward. Taking action creates momentum and builds confidence. It shows you that problems don't have to stop you, they can become challenges you overcome. Leaders don't wait for perfect conditions or for someone else to fix things. They take responsibility and act. Another important aspect is managing your emotions. Problems often trigger frustration, anger, or fear, and those emotions can cloud your thinking. Leaders train themselves to recognize these feelings but not be controlled by them. They practice staying calm and focused. This emotional control allows them to think clearly and choose productive responses instead of reacting impulsively. That discipline doesn't mean ignoring feelings. It means acknowledging them, but not letting them dominate your decisions. Complaining can also create a negative environment around you. When you focus on problems without looking for solutions, you bring others down with you. That negativity spreads and can kill motivation, teamwork, and creativity. Leaders know the power of their attitude and choose to be a source of encouragement and hope. They inspire others by focusing on what can be done instead of what can't. That kind of mindset creates a culture of possibility and resilience. People want to follow someone who looks for solutions, not someone who just points out problems. Sometimes, focusing on solutions means changing how you look at a problem. What seems like a roadblock might actually be an opportunity to learn or grow. Leaders ask themselves, what can this teach me? Or, how can this make me stronger? This perspective doesn't make problems disappear, but it changes how you experience them. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. That attitude fuels persistence and keeps you moving even when the path gets tough. It's also important to recognize when you need help. Leaders focus on solutions, but they don't pretend they have to do it all alone. Asking for advice, seeking resources, or collaborating with others is part of the solution mindset. Complaining often isolates you and makes you feel stuck, but reaching out connects you to new ideas and support. That teamwork brings fresh energy and new ways forward. Leaders build networks of people who share a similar focus on solving problems and creating progress. Being solution-focused requires practice. It won't happen overnight, especially if complaining has been your habit. Start by noticing when you complain and catch yourself. Then immediately shift your thinking to what you can do about the issue. Write down possible actions or small steps. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to look for answers first. It becomes your default way of thinking, and that's a powerful transformation. The difference between focusing on problems and focusing on solutions is the difference between feeling powerless and feeling empowered. Complaints keep you stuck in helplessness. Solutions put you in charge of your life. That change in mindset affects every area: your work, your relationships, your health, and your goals. Leaders understand that progress requires action, and action requires a focus on solutions. They don't waste time or energy on negativity because they know it doesn't lead anywhere productive. The truth is, every problem carries a solution, even if it's not obvious at first. You might need to dig, experiment, or ask for help to find it. That's the nature of leadership, facing challenges head-on and pushing through until you find a way. The more you practice focusing on solutions, the faster you'll become at spotting them. You'll develop a confidence that no setback can shake, because you know you can always find a path forward. Complaining can feel like a quick release of frustration, but it's a trap that leads nowhere. Leaders choose a different path. They look at problems clearly, accept reality, and immediately turn their focus to solutions. That mindset creates momentum, energy, and results. It shapes how they think, how they act, and how they inspire others. The decision to focus on solutions isn't just about fixing problems. It's about creating a way of living where challenges become opportunities, where setbacks become lessons, and where energy is always moving forward. That's how leaders think. They don't waste time complaining. They concentrate on solutions, and that's how they get things done. Number 6. Learn to listen more than you speak. People often underestimate the power of listening. It's something we do every day, but how often do we really listen? Not just hear the words, but truly listen with intention and understanding. Most people jump into conversations wanting to be heard, eager to share their own thoughts, ideas, or opinions. That's natural, but it's not how leaders think. A leader knows that listening more than speaking is a crucial skill. It's how you gain real insight, build trust, and make better decisions. Listening opens doors that talking alone can never open. The reality is, when emotions run high or when pressure mounts, people tend to speak first and listen last, or not at all. That habit leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and missed opportunities. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person was already planning their response before you finished talking? It feels disrespectful and frustrating because it shows they're not truly paying attention. Leaders refuse to fall into that trap. They know that effective communication starts with listening fully and deeply. Listening is about more than just words. It's about reading between the lines. It's about paying attention to tone, body language, and the emotions behind the message. When someone shares their thoughts, they're not only giving you information, they're sharing a part of themselves, their hopes, fears, and concerns. A leader tunes into all of this. They notice when someone is hesitant, excited, worried, or unsure. That awareness helps leaders respond with empathy and wisdom, not just facts. Listening also means resisting the urge to interrupt or finish someone's sentence. It means allowing silence and pauses in conversation, giving the other person space to fully express themselves. Silence can be uncomfortable, but it's a powerful tool for understanding. Leaders don't rush to fill that space. Instead, they listen patiently and thoughtfully. That patience encourages others to open up and share more honestly. When you listen more than you speak, you gather valuable information that helps you make wiser choices. Many decisions fail because they are made without fully understanding the situation or the people involved. Leaders avoid this by gathering input from different perspectives before acting. They ask questions and listen carefully to the answers. This practice uncovers hidden challenges and creative solutions that wouldn't surface in a one-sided conversation. Listening builds trust. People feel valued and respected when they know they are truly heard. That trust is the foundation of strong relationships, whether at work, in your community, or at home. Leaders who listen well create an environment where people feel safe to share ideas, express concerns, and collaborate openly. That kind of environment produces better results and stronger teams. Listening also teaches humility. It reminds you that you don't have all the answers and that others' viewpoints matter. Leaders who listen well are always learning. They recognize that growth comes from understanding, not just instructing. This openness keeps their thinking flexible and adaptive, essential qualities in a world that's always changing. True listening requires focus and presence. It's easy to be distracted by phones, emails, or wandering thoughts. But leaders know that when they give someone their full attention, they honor that person's time and trust. That presence strengthens connections and shows that leadership is about serving others, not just commanding them. Another benefit of listening more than speaking is avoiding unnecessary conflict. Many arguments happen because people talk past each other or fail to understand the other side. Listening carefully can prevent misunderstandings and diffuse tension. It creates a space where problems can be discussed calmly and solutions found collaboratively. Listening also helps leaders recognize their own biases and blind spots. When you hear perspectives different from your own, you challenge your assumptions and broaden your understanding. This awareness leads to better decisions and fairer treatment of others. Leaders don't let their opinions blind them to the truth. They listen to learn what they don't know. In practice, learning to listen more than speak takes effort. It means checking your impulse to dominate conversations and instead asking thoughtful questions. It means practicing patience even when you're eager to respond. Over time, this habit transforms how people see you. They view you as wise, trustworthy, and approachable, a true leader. Listening deeply is not passive. It's active engagement. It requires you to process what you hear, remember key points, and respond in a way that shows understanding. Leaders reflect back what they've heard to confirm clarity. They summarize important ideas and ask follow-up questions. This confirms that the conversation is productive and focused. The rewards of listening well are enormous. It creates stronger relationships, better decisions, and greater influence. When people know you listen, they respect you more and feel more connected. You become someone others turn to for guidance and support. That's the kind of leadership that lasts. Every leader can improve their listening skills by making a simple choice. Listen first, speak second. Make it your goal to hear fully before responding. Be curious about others' thoughts and feelings. Let listening shape your actions and decisions. That mindset makes all the difference between reacting impulsively and leading wisely. Listening more than speaking is a quiet power. It builds bridges where others build walls. It turns conversations into opportunities for growth and connection. When you commit to this practice, you not only become a better leader, you become a better person. Because true leadership starts with respect, understanding, and the willingness to listen. Number 7. Stay calm and confident in uncertain situations. Life doesn't hand out guarantees. Most people spend a lot of time worried about what might go wrong, especially when things feel uncertain or unstable. When everything around you is shifting, whether it's work, relationships, health, or finances, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or even scared. The reality is, uncertainty is part of life. Nobody can predict the future with complete certainty. What separates leaders from the crowd is their ability to stay calm and confident when others panic. That skill is not something you're born with. It's something you learn and practice. It starts with accepting that uncertainty will come and choosing to respond with control instead of chaos. When faced with uncertainty, most people's minds race. They jump to worst-case scenarios or feel stuck in what-if loops. That mental noise clouds judgment and drains energy. Staying calm means stopping that spiral. It means grounding yourself in the present moment, focusing on what you know, not what you fear. Calmness isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging the challenge without letting it take over your mind or emotions. It's the ability to breathe deeply, think clearly, and hold steady even when the future looks unclear. Confidence in uncertain situations grows from preparation and mindset. Leaders build their confidence by trusting their skills, experience, and ability to adapt. They know they won't have all the answers right away, but they trust themselves to figure things out. This belief in your own capability is like a steady anchor. It stops you from being tossed around by fear or doubt. That confidence also comes from experience facing tough times before and coming through stronger. Each challenge faced calmly becomes proof that you can handle whatever comes next. Another key to staying calm is managing your emotions. Anxiety, frustration, or panic can hijack your thinking if you let them. Leaders practice recognizing these feelings without letting them control their actions. They create space between emotion and decision-making. That space allows them to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Techniques like deep breathing, pausing before speaking, or stepping back to review the situation help maintain emotional balance. When uncertainty hits, it's natural to want immediate answers or quick fixes. But leaders know that rushing decisions under pressure often leads to mistakes. Staying calm means giving yourself permission to take the time needed to assess options and gather information. It means resisting the urge to act out of fear. This patience can be the difference between a smart move and a costly error. Confidence also comes from focusing on what you can control. In uncertain situations, many things are out of your hands. Leaders focus their energy on actions they can take. They identify small, concrete steps that move things forward instead of being paralyzed by what's unknown. This focus creates momentum and reduces feelings of helplessness. Taking control where you can makes uncertainty less intimidating and builds a sense of progress. Another important aspect is clear communication during uncertain times. Leaders who stay calm and confident don't hide the truth or sugarcoat problems. Instead, they communicate honestly and calmly with those around them. That openness builds trust and reduces panic. People feel more secure when they know what's happening and what to expect. Calm communication models the attitude you want others to adopt. Staying calm also means taking care of yourself physically and mentally. Stress from uncertainty can wear down your body and mind. Leaders prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and moments of rest to keep their energy and focus sharp. When you're physically well, it's easier to maintain calmness and confidence even under pressure. A lot of people avoid uncertainty by trying to control everything or by procrastinating decisions. Leaders understand that control is an illusion. Instead of fighting uncertainty, they accept it as part of the process. They prepare for different outcomes and stay flexible. That adaptability is a form of strength, not weakness. When plans change or challenges arise, leaders adjust course calmly and confidently without losing sight of their goals. Mindset plays a huge role here. Leaders develop the habit of viewing uncertainty as an opportunity rather than a threat. Uncertainty forces creativity, problem-solving, and growth. When you embrace that perspective, you feel less afraid and more energized. You see uncertain moments as a chance to prove your resilience and resourcefulness. Confidence in uncertain situations also involves humility. It's recognizing that you don't know everything, but trusting that you can learn and adjust as needed. Leaders ask questions, seek advice, and remain open to new information. That humility prevents overconfidence and keeps decisions grounded in reality. Practicing staying calm and confident in everyday challenges builds your muscle for bigger tests. Start with small situations where you feel pressure or doubt. Notice how your body reacts and practice techniques to slow down and focus. Build your confidence by facing uncertainty head-on, not avoiding it. Each time you stay calm and act confidently, you prove to yourself that you can handle the unknown. Uncertainty can trigger fear, but it doesn't have to control you. You have the power to choose your response. Leaders choose calmness because it allows them to think clearly, make better decisions, and inspire those around them. Confidence comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it with grace and strength. That combination, calmness and confidence, creates a foundation of leadership that doesn't shake even when storms come. It builds respect, trust, and influence. People look to leaders who remain steady, not those who panic. You become a source of strength in uncertainty, guiding others through with a steady hand. No situation stays uncertain forever. Staying calm and confident through the unknown positions you to come out stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's a skill worth cultivating because life will always throw curveballs. Your ability to remain grounded and sure in those moments determines how far you'll go as a leader. Number 8. Develop the habit of long-term strategic thinking. Most people live day to day, caught up in the immediate tasks, urgent demands, and short-term challenges. It's a natural response to life's pressure to focus on what's right in front of them. But this habit of living in the moment, without a broader perspective, limits the ability to lead effectively. Leadership demands a different mindset, one that consistently looks beyond today, beyond this week or month, and thinks in terms of months and years ahead. Developing the habit of long-term strategic thinking separates leaders from followers. It's the difference between reacting to events and creating a purposeful path forward. Long-term strategic thinking begins with seeing the bigger picture clearly. It requires stepping back from daily chaos to understand how your actions today fit into a broader vision for the future. Most people don't do this because it feels overwhelming or because they are stuck in routines that don't allow time for reflection. Leaders carve out space in their lives to think deeply and plan ahead. They ask themselves, where do I want to be in 5 years? 10 years? How do my current decisions influence that future? Without this, it's easy to drift aimlessly or fall into traps that feel urgent but don't move you closer to your goals. The habit of long-term thinking also demands patience. In a world obsessed with instant results and quick wins, many find it hard to stay committed to plans that take time to unfold. But leaders understand that true growth, success, and impact require consistent effort over long periods. They invest their energy in actions that might not pay off immediately, but build foundations for lasting achievement. This patience is not passive waiting. It's active, persistent work, guided by a clear vision. Strategic thinking is about prioritizing what matters most. When you focus on long-term results, you learn to distinguish between distractions and meaningful activities. Leaders evaluate every choice by asking if it aligns with their future goals. They resist temptations that offer short-term pleasure but derail progress. This discipline creates momentum and shields them from burnout caused by chasing every shiny object or reacting to every crisis. Another essential part of developing this habit is flexibility. Long-term plans rarely unfold exactly as expected. Circumstances change, new opportunities arise, and obstacles appear. Leaders don't cling rigidly to a plan. Instead, they adjust their strategies while keeping their end goals in sight. This adaptability is a strength because it allows leaders to navigate complexity without losing direction. They see change as part of the journey, not a failure. Long-term strategic thinking also means learning to anticipate challenges before they happen. Leaders who think ahead can foresee potential roadblocks and prepare solutions in advance. This proactive mindset reduces surprises and builds confidence. When obstacles come, they are ready to face them with a plan rather than being caught off guard. Anticipation creates calm under pressure because it removes the shock factor from difficulties. Building this habit requires a commitment to continuous learning. The world is always changing, and leaders must update their knowledge and skills to stay relevant. Strategic thinkers read, listen, and observe trends in their field and beyond. They seek diverse perspectives to enrich their understanding. This lifelong learning fuels better decisions and innovative ideas that keep their vision alive and evolving. Long-term thinking also shapes how leaders manage their resources, time, money, energy, and people. They allocate these resources not just for immediate needs, but in a way that supports sustainable growth. This might mean investing in training, building relationships, or saving funds for future projects. Wise resource management ensures the leader doesn't run out of fuel midway through their journey. The habit of long-term strategic thinking influences how leaders communicate as well. They share their vision clearly with their team, explaining how each person's role contributes to the bigger picture. This alignment motivates others to work with purpose and commitment. It creates a culture where everyone understands not just what to do, but why it matters in the long run. Developing this habit also means setting milestones and measuring progress consistently. Leaders don't wait until the distant future to check if they're on track. They create benchmarks along the way, celebrate small wins, and course-correct when needed. This steady monitoring keeps motivation high and prevents the feeling of being lost or overwhelmed. It's important to recognize that thinking long-term doesn't mean ignoring today. Effective leaders balance short-term action with future planning. They break big goals into smaller, manageable steps. Each day, week, or month becomes an opportunity to move forward strategically. This balance keeps the momentum steady and the vision alive. To truly develop this habit, discipline and routine play a huge role. Leaders dedicate regular time to planning and reflection. This could be daily journaling, weekly reviews, or quarterly strategy sessions. Making this a non-negotiable part of their schedule ensures that long-term thinking doesn't get crowded out by urgent but less important tasks. The benefits of adopting this mindset are profound. Leaders who think long-term make better decisions, avoid costly mistakes, and create sustainable success. They build resilience because their focus on the future helps them endure short-term setbacks. This vision-driven approach also attracts others who want to be part of something meaningful and lasting. Many struggle to develop this habit because it requires a shift from reactive to proactive thinking. It demands courage to face uncertainty and trust in a vision that isn't fully formed yet. It challenges the human tendency to seek comfort in immediate gratification. But those who commit to this path unlock the true power of leadership. Long-term strategic thinking transforms how you live and lead. It gives purpose to daily actions and clarity in moments of confusion. It empowers you to create a life and legacy that matter. When your mind is trained to look beyond the now, you become the kind of leader who shapes the future instead of just responding to it. Number 9. Surround yourself with strong and honest people. Life often feels like a battle when you try to move forward alone. Many get stuck or discouraged not because they lack ability, but because they don't have the right people around them. Trying to carry every burden on your own weakens the mind and spirit. The people you choose to keep close influence your thoughts, decisions, and energy far more than you realize. If you want to think like a leader, it's crucial to surround yourself with strong and honest people. These aren't just friends or colleagues, they are the foundation of your growth and success. Strong people don't mean those who overpower others or dominate conversations. Strength here means resilience, integrity, and character. These are individuals who face challenges with courage, maintain their values, and keep their word. Being around such people sets a high standard. It pushes you to elevate your own behavior because strength breeds strength. Their presence challenges you to be better, not through competition, but through example. Honest people offer clarity in a world filled with noise and confusion. When you have someone who tells you the truth, sometimes tough to hear, but always real, you avoid the traps of self-delusion. Honest feedback helps you correct course quickly. It's easy to get comfortable with flattery or silence, but those don't serve a leader's growth. The right circle gives you honest perspectives that sharpen your judgment and broaden your understanding. Many people don't realize how much their environment shapes their mindset. Negative influences drain energy and plant doubt. Weak or dishonest people can fill your mind with excuses, fears, or distractions. The words spoken around you either fuel your confidence or chip away at it. Strong, honest companions encourage resilience, optimism, and accountability. Their voices remind you who you are and what you can become, especially when your own spirit feels fragile. Leaders are made, not born, and one of the key ways they grow is by learning from others. Surrounding yourself with strong, honest people gives you access to wisdom and experience. These relationships become sources of advice, support, and inspiration. You'll find that when you're in the company of people who have walked hard paths and stayed true to themselves, you gain insights that no book or seminar can provide. Their stories teach you lessons about perseverance, decision-making, and character under pressure. It takes courage to seek out and keep these kinds of people in your life. Sometimes the strongest and most honest voices challenge you when you least want to be challenged. They call you out on excuses, push you to confront uncomfortable truths, and refuse to let you settle for less. This kind of tough love is essential for growth. Avoiding it may feel easier, but it leads to stagnation. True leadership requires the willingness to face reality even when it's difficult. Another important aspect is that strong and honest people provide emotional balance. Life is unpredictable, and leadership carries its share of stress and setbacks. Having people who listen without judgment, offer encouragement, and help you manage pressure creates a safety net. This support doesn't remove challenges, but strengthens your ability to endure them. It reminds you that you are not alone in the journey, which makes it easier to take risks and lead boldly. These relationships also serve as a mirror, reflecting back your own strengths and weaknesses. Strong, honest friends don't just help you grow, they help you see yourself clearly. This self-awareness is critical for leadership. Without it, decisions are made in the dark, and relationships suffer. Honest feedback shines light on blind spots and shows where you need improvement, while genuine support reinforces your confidence. To surround yourself with these people, you have to be intentional. This means seeking out individuals who demonstrate integrity and resilience in their daily lives. It might require stepping out of your comfort zone, attending new gatherings, or investing time in building deeper connections. It also means letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth. This process can be painful but necessary. The company you keep reflects your priorities and ultimately shapes your future. Maintaining these relationships demands effort and reciprocity. Strong, honest people require respect and trust. You have to show up for them as much as they show up for you. Leadership isn't just about what you receive, it's about what you give. Supporting others, offering honest counsel, and standing by them through their struggles builds a powerful network. This mutual commitment creates an environment where everyone thrives and contributes. Being part of such a circle also inspires a mindset of collaboration over competition. Instead of tearing each other down, strong and honest people lift one another up. This creates a culture of trust and shared purpose. When you learn to celebrate others' successes while pursuing your own, you break free from isolation. Leadership becomes less about controlling everything and more about creating synergy that amplifies impact. The influence of this group extends beyond professional life. Strong and honest people help you grow as a human being. They challenge your beliefs, broaden your worldview, and deepen your empathy. They hold you accountable to your values and encourage you to lead with integrity in every area: family, work, community. This holistic growth is what makes leadership authentic and lasting. When you face tough decisions or moments of doubt, the strength and honesty of those around you become a source of clarity and courage. Their presence calms fears and refocuses your energy on what truly matters. They remind you of your capabilities and your purpose, especially when self-doubt creeps in. Knowing that you have a solid foundation of support makes it easier to take bold steps forward. It's also worth noting that strong and honest people challenge you to keep learning and improving. Their commitment to growth inspires you to do the same. This shared pursuit of excellence creates momentum. Together, you move beyond complacency and constantly raise the bar. This continuous improvement is a hallmark of true leadership. Surrounding yourself with the right people is not just about convenience. It's a strategic move for your future. It's an investment that pays dividends in resilience, wisdom, and integrity. No leader thrives in isolation. The right company transforms your mindset and fuels your journey toward meaningful impact. Ultimately, choosing strong and honest companions is a reflection of your commitment to leadership. It's a daily decision to embrace growth, face reality, and build a legacy that matters. The quality of people around you shapes the quality of your thoughts and actions. If you want to lead well, make the company you keep a priority. The power of their influence will show in every decision, every challenge, and every victory you experience. Number 10. Reflect daily to improve how you lead tomorrow. There's a powerful truth many people overlook. The most important leadership skill isn't making big decisions or giving inspiring speeches. It's taking time to stop, look back, and understand how you did today. Reflection isn't about blaming yourself or dwelling on mistakes. It's a simple, honest practice that gives you clarity and direction for tomorrow. Without it, leadership becomes a series of repeated errors, missed chances, and unnecessary stress. The truth is, daily reflection changes the way you lead because it transforms the way you think, feel, and act. Every day brings a flood of experiences, emotions, conversations, and challenges. The rush of moving through tasks can drown out learning opportunities unless you pause to notice what happened and what it means. When you reflect, you take control of your day's story. You examine your actions and reactions, the choices you made under pressure, and the results those choices brought. This is where growth begins, by turning each day into a lesson rather than just another 24 hours passing by. The reality is, many people rush from one thing to the next without thinking about how their behavior affected others or themselves. They don't ask if their decisions aligned with their values or if their words built trust and connection. This leads to frustration and stagnation. Reflecting daily offers a way to break free from that cycle. It helps you see where you succeeded and where you stumbled. This awareness builds self-confidence because you know exactly what to keep doing and what to change. Taking this moment of reflection sharpens your emotional awareness too. Leadership isn't just about what you do. It's about how you handle your feelings and influence others. When you look back on your day, you notice your emotional triggers. The moments you lost patience, felt doubtful, or handled stress well. Recognizing these patterns gives you power over your emotional responses. You begin to respond with calm and clarity instead of reacting impulsively. This emotional mastery is a key difference between a manager and a leader. It's easy to think that reflection takes too much time, especially when schedules are tight and pressure's high. But this practice doesn't have to be lengthy. Even 5 or 10 minutes before bed or right after work can make a huge difference. The benefit is compounded over days and weeks. Small, consistent reflections create a habit that rewires your mind toward growth and learning. It's like tuning an instrument daily so you perform better every time you play. The process of reflection also improves your decision-making. When you analyze past actions, you start to notice what kinds of choices led to positive outcomes and which ones didn't. This pattern recognition trains your mind to anticipate consequences more clearly. The next time you face a similar situation, you'll be prepared with better judgment. Over time, this builds wisdom, which is the foundation of effective leadership. Moreover, daily reflection deepens your understanding of the people you lead. Leadership is not about controlling others, but about serving them in a way that helps everyone grow. By looking back on interactions and conversations, you notice what motivated your team, what discouraged them, and how you might support them better. This kind of empathy fuels stronger relationships and builds trust, making your leadership more impactful. Many leaders get caught up in the noise of urgent tasks and forget to ask the important questions. Did I listen enough? Did I communicate clearly? Did I act with integrity? Reflection gives you the space to consider these questions honestly. It holds you accountable to your own standards and values, helping you become the leader you want to be, not just the one others expect. When you commit to reflecting daily, you create a rhythm that balances action and insight. This balance prevents burnout and frustration because you're not blindly pushing forward. Instead, you move with purpose and understanding. The awareness gained reduces mistakes and increases the quality of your leadership. This means you waste less time, conserve energy, and build momentum toward your goals. Reflection also cultivates humility, a trait often missing in leaders. Looking back on your day allows you to see where you fell short without judgment. Admitting mistakes and learning from them strengthens your character and earns respect from those you lead. Humility doesn't weaken leadership, it makes it more genuine and relatable. People follow leaders who are real and willing to grow alongside them. You might wonder how to start this practice in a way that sticks. Begin by setting a specific time each day to reflect, maybe after dinner or just before sleep. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What went well today? What could I have done better? What will I do differently tomorrow? Writing down your thoughts helps solidify insights and tracks your progress. Over time, you'll notice patterns and breakthroughs that would otherwise be missed. Another powerful tool is to focus on your feelings during reflection. How did the day's events affect your mood, your energy, your motivation? This emotional check-in reveals hidden stressors or sources of joy. When you pay attention to your inner state, you can make adjustments that improve your well-being and leadership effectiveness. For instance, if you notice you're consistently drained after certain meetings, you can prepare differently or delegate tasks to protect your energy. Reflection encourages gratitude too. Even on tough days, finding moments to appreciate small wins or supportive people shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude fuels optimism, which is essential for leadership. It reminds you why you lead in the first place and keeps you connected to your purpose. The impact of this daily habit extends far beyond the immediate moment. As your reflections accumulate, you build a personal archive of experiences and lessons. This archive becomes a guidebook you can rely on in future challenges. When facing tough decisions or uncertainty, you draw from a reservoir of past insights rather than guessing or repeating mistakes. In truth, reflection transforms leadership into a journey of continuous improvement. It changes how you see yourself and your role. Instead of aiming for perfection, you aim for progress. This mindset keeps you humble, curious, and motivated. You become a leader who evolves with every day, ready to meet new demands with wisdom and grace. The people you lead will notice this change. They feel the difference when their leader is thoughtful, self-aware, and committed to growth. This builds trust and loyalty. It inspires others to adopt the same practice of reflection, creating a culture of learning and improvement within your team or organization. This simple but powerful habit holds the key to lasting success. It's not about grand gestures, but about the quiet moments when you stop and ask yourself how you can be better. These moments shape your character and influence every choice you make. Reflection gives you control over your leadership journey and ensures you don't drift aimlessly through your days. Every leader faces moments of doubt, stress, and uncertainty. Reflection gives you a way to navigate these moments with clarity and confidence. It's a tool to sharpen your mind, steady your emotions, and renew your purpose. The practice of reflecting daily is the secret weapon of leaders who last and lead well.